Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace and blessings unto you. Welcome to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. And tonight we're going to be talking about a dangerously competitive mindset. Are you dangerously competitive? Let's unravel it and expose it and deal with it. We'll be right back. Give us about 5 minutes. We'll show a few commercials. Tell a friend, like and subscribe. We'll see you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee. And he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
before we get started, let me show y'all this little video. Let's just calibrate our minds here. Give me a little thumbs up if you can hear it okay once I get it on here.
Compare yourself with others? Stop comparing yourself. When you compare yourself with what others have or how they are, you're making yourself feel dissatisfied. When you start comparing, you subconsciously start to believe that they are better than you, and you are inferior to them. You're depriving yourself of all the great things you already have and cursing yourself over that one thing you don't. Comparisons take your happiness away and leave you with dissatisfaction, low self-esteem, and whatnot. There's a common motto among hikers, which is hike your own hike. They use this to focus on their path instead of looking at others' trails. Others might be able to reach the peak before you, but in the end, you will also reach there. See, it's just a difference in timing. As famously said, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. We all should learn to embrace the journey. You are at the beginning of something great. Do not let someone else's success discourage you. Mostly, we compare ourselves with what we see. Social media is a stage to flaunt our so-called luxuries. We compare our situation with others' positive sides without actually knowing the hardship behind it. Don't let the internet rush you. No one is posting their failures. We are making the wrong comparisons most of the time. We compare the skills in which we are not good at and start believing that we are not good at anything. In reality, we may have some skills which we excel at, but we get too involved in the race to become better than them that we overlook our skills. What you need to do is explore yourself and find out which skill you are good at and become better. A fish cannot fly, a bird cannot swim, but they are both the best at their skill. When you compare yourself with others, you subconsciously set your goals on par with them. But here you're making a big mistake. Maybe you can become much better than them. Or perhaps you have capabilities to achieve bigger goals than them. Discovering the motivation and gaining from others is insightful. You should always take suggestions from experience. Not to compare with what they have, but to make yourself better. Successful people always compete with their own goals, while failure competes with others' successes. Remember this, there's no comparison between sun and moon. They shine when it's their time. Found this video motivating? Give us a thumbs up. For more exciting videos.
So I just wanted to show you that video. Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Wanted to show you that video just to kind of level set for us, to sort of calibrate ourselves to how we should be thinking. Okay. I know a lot of us know that person who can barely be in the room with somebody else who has something that they don't have. They live their lives just constantly competing against the next person, looking at what that person has and comparing themselves. And that is the grid that they're plugged into. And a lot of us are plugged into that grid. And what I'm saying today is unplug from that one and let's plug you into another grid. Because this is there's so many dangerous things about that unhealthy type of competition. Is so low vibrational that we're not even going to spend a lot of time talking about it today. Okay. But what I will say is this. If you see somebody and that's how they live their life, let them go because they happen to be vibrating at a space that you don't want to be vibrating in. Plug into another grid, plug into a higher frequency. Okay. Staying on that low vibration, let me tell you what's going to happen. Eventually, you may very well compete your way to the top, but you're going to always be in a position where you're hitting less than the mark and performing less than your capacity. Why? Because you're so busy comparing yourself to somebody else. And now you live in this low vibrational space. Here's a quote that's in my book, Chapter 6, from Wallace D. Wattles. Okay. Very, very powerful quote. And this quote was written over 100 years ago. All right. Every person who becomes rich by competition knocks down the ladder by which he or she rises and keeps others down. But every person who gets rich by creation opens a way for others to follow and inspire them to do so. So let's work on tonight. We're not going to spend a lot of time on those low vibrational people who are always competing. We're going to spend more time focusing on experiencing life differently. It's got to be so miserable for people who experience the earth in a space where they're constantly comparing themselves to others. You got to get yourself to the point where you really could care less what other people are doing because you're so busy running your race. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have empathy. That doesn't mean that you become one-track minded. But what does it mean? You say, okay, let me be healthier. Let me stop looking at what somebody else has and thinking about how much that reminds me of what I don't have, or that my car isn't that nice, or my house is different, or whatever, and run your race. Because the only way you're going to even get more than what you have on a spiritual level is if you do it on a spiritual level. What do I mean by that? Let's say today you had to make phone calls in your business. Let's say at the end of the day, you're on a team and everybody on the team chimes in on the end of the day call and talks about how many calls they made. And the person in the cubicle next to you made 200 calls today. And you're sitting there going, well, damn, I only made 80. What do you do at that point? Do you get jealous and say, well, tomorrow I'm going to unplug his phone? Or tomorrow I'm going to be making noise in the background? Or I know he's allergic to lemon and I'm going to put lemon in his tea. Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to say, hey, how'd you make those 200? Because I only made 80. And see if there's a technique there that maybe you could learn, a way of speaking or a way of discernment that maybe you could learn that could help increase your numbers. And then once you learn that technique, then maybe today you did 80. And so tomorrow you try to go, well, I'm going to try to do 85. And then maybe the next day I'm going to do 90. Let's take weight. Let's take something real everyday life, like weight. Let's say you got on the scale this morning and you weighed 190 pounds. And you said, oh my God, I got to lose some weight. And you looking at somebody that you know who lost 50 pounds. And they weigh 150 pounds. And you weigh 190. Are you going to get so upset and so down on yourself and comparing yourself that now you've increased your cortisol levels, you all stressed out and you can't lose the weight, but you're mad at them because they lost the weight? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to lose a pound a week. And at the end of the year, I'm going to be done lost 52 pounds. Or what goals are you going to set for yourself? So the idea is you always want to try to be better today than you were yesterday. Whether it's with your performance on the job, no matter what it is, you're going to try to do better. You're going to continuously try to step your game up and compete against yourself. And you want to create your way to that next level. You want to spiritualize yourself to that next level? Let me know if you guys have any questions, because I want us to be really interactive with this today. I don't want to spend a lot of time ranting about the low vibrational people, the people who just can't even be around because they're competitive. I want us to think about, how do we make sure that we're competitive with ourselves? How do we exist in an environment of geniuses? How do we unite and exist in a room full of gods if we're sitting up here being competitive? See, immediately, soon as we get competitive, we've taken ourselves out of the game. And we take ourselves out of the game because now we just dropped our vibration down low. And so while they over here functioning on this high flying grid,